The powerful earthquake triggering a wave of panic, thousands running for their lives. Screams filling the streets of Mexico City as buildings break apart and fear floods the capital. The 7.1 tremor bringing the region to its knees. Buildings that didn't collapse swayed across the skyline of one of the world's biggest cities. Plumes of dust rising from where structures used to stand. This man says we're trying to clear the streets so ambulances and firefighters can get through. Now the desperate race for rescues, removing debris from where many could still be buried alive. The death toll here uncertain, but the scene is grim. This woman says it was terrifying. With first responders scouring schools and hospitals, this country is on shaky ground. The epicenter near the Puebla state town of Raboso, 76 miles southeast of Mexico City. Earlier this month, an 8.1 earthquake killed 100 people in southern Mexico. Today's tremor comes exactly 32 years after the 1985 earthquake that killed as many as 10,000. In a country that uses an early warning system for earthquakes, today there was none.
Because the soil in Mexico City amplifies the shaking by a factor of 100 or more, they get a lot of damage from faraway earthquakes.
Tonight, Mexico is in a state of emergency, a region in peril, now bracing for powerful aftershocks.
Coming on the air to update you on a major earthquake that has rocked central Mexico, a 7.1 magnitude quake that has caused some buildings to collapse in and around Mexico City. The quake itself centered about 75 miles southeast of Mexico City. There are active searches going on right now for those who have been trapped. There is a rising death toll. We'll just leave it to say right now in the dozens of reported dead, but that toll expected to climb. We want to go to Miguel Almaguer right now in our Los Angeles newsroom, who's monitoring the latest. Miguel?
Yeah, Lester, a state of emergency certainly underway in Mexico as the president there tweets that this disaster is still unfolding. As you mentioned, we saw several buildings that have collapsed. We've seen plumes of smoke in the air and a death toll that will no doubt rise. We know thousands of people have poured out and flooded the streets here as fear spreads across this region. As you know, there was an 8.1 earthquake in Mexico earlier this month. And of course, today's quake comes on the 32-year anniversary of a massive earthquake in Mexico City that killed some 10,000 people. As a matter of fact, many folks were drilling or having drills in preparations for a major earthquake just hours before this 7.1 quake was triggered. Lester, we also know that they're evacuating hospitals and schools. Even the airport is shut down here as many people scramble to safety at this hour, Lester.
And we saw the images of people fleeing their offices and now crowded in the streets. There's reports of the smell of gas. What about, you may have noted, the airports? They're closed at this point?
Yeah, the major airports into Mexico City have been suspended. All flights have been suspended. Some flights still show as leaving on time, but we know that airport officials say no flights will be coming in as they need to inspect the runways there. We should also mention, Lester, that Mexico City is built on lake bed soil, which we're told by geologists can actually magnify an earthquake. So we may have had a 7.1 quake, but it certainly probably felt a lot stronger to many people there. Seismologist Lucy Jones also tells us that Mexico City should brace for several major aftershocks that will likely come in the wake of this major quake, Lester.
Only to complicate any search and rescue operation there. We can tell you that President Trump is monitoring the situation in Mexico City. He put out a tweet just a short time ago saying, "God bless the people of Mexico City. We are with you and will be there for you." And we are all watching now to see this play out. Again, the death reports are coming and the casualties from different parts of central Mexico. And right now they are as high as 49, but we'll continue to watch that number. And you're looking at scenes here outside buildings that have collapsed. No telling how many people were inside those buildings. A massive rescue operation underway. Even, as Miguel points out, they fear further aftershocks.
Images that are coming in are absolutely horrific. This is a reported 7.1 quake, as you mentioned, south of Mexico City, in an area that is built on a lake bed. Here's the real tragedy that we know so far. The town was actually practicing drills because of that 1985 quake. It's the anniversary of the 85 quake. That was an 8.0 magnitude. That basically destroyed much of Mexico City, led to thousands of deaths, led to billions of dollars in damages, led to massive amounts of loss of life in that area. So they were actually practicing drills because of that quake, that anniversary, and then to have this about 40 minutes ago, the 7.1 magnitude. Aftershocks have not been felt yet. But again, watching the video that we've got in on both social media coming in from our affiliates in Telemundo, you just see the devastation. You can see during the quake, things are falling off counters, people diving under desks, trying to take cover in any way they can. Outside, you're looking at buildings collapsing, huge plumes of dust and smoke rising over the city. You're looking at people screaming, trying to get away in any way they can as this quake is occurring.
Pues está muy cabrón, güey.
No.
Mírame la cantidad de edificios que se cayeron. No lo puedo creer.
No, impresionante.
For more on the science of the earthquake, we want to bring in Dr. Michio Kaku from Las Vegas. He's a theoretical physicist and CBS News science and futurist contributor. Michio, as we mentioned, the earthquake in Mexico was 7.1 magnitude. What does that mean in terms of strength and force? What kind of damage is a quake like that capable of?
Well, there is some thinking that it could actually be an aftershock of the 8.1 earthquake that we had just 2 weeks ago. And by comparison, just remember that a 7.9 earthquake leveled San Francisco back in 1906. Now, people say, why Mexico? Why Mexico? Well, Mexico sits on top of the collision of three major fault lines. We have the Cocos Fault, the North American Fault, and the Caribbean Fault. And also, Mexico City is built on top of a lake. Tremendous soil amplifies the power of an earthquake. Not to mention the fact that this earthquake was very shallow, only 33 miles below the surface of the earth. The shallower the earthquake, the more devastating it could be. So for all these reasons, it magnified the power of this 7.1 earthquake.
So given what you just spelled out there, Michio, what is the likelihood of more aftershocks? Can you explain how those work?
Yes, we think there are going to be more aftershocks in the coming days and coming weeks. Every time you have a big earthquake, you release vast amounts of energy that is locked inside these plates. Now remember that one plate, the Cocos plate, is in a subduction fault. It is actually going underneath the North American plate, wow. And it's building up tremendous tension because the rock has basically locked in place. So when the rock slips, that's when you get a massive earthquake like this. And you can also get tsunamis also. And so for all these reasons, that area is earthquake prone.